The Texas Rangers have the best record in the American League, and they showed us why yesterday with a display of power and good starting pitching. Jeremy Guthrie has been one of the best pitchers in the league over the last month. He'll try to show the Rangers why. Next on Fox Sports Kansas City.
Royals baseball comes to you from Kauffman Stadium one day after the Texas Rangers hit 5 home runs here, and it's another good night to hit for Game 2 between the Royals and the Rangers. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark. I'm Ryan Lefevre. The Texas Rangers with 5 home runs. That was a season high allowed by the Royals, but nothing new for Texas. That was the 4th time this year they've hit 5 or more home runs in one game. Now, they faced Jeremy Guthrie about a month ago, Rex Hudler. Jeremy Guthrie pitched very well against them. He kept the ball in the ballpark, and that was the beginning of a long run for him.
Yeah, a run of success. He got his fastball down out over the plate. He's not in the middle anymore, and he's only given up 5 home runs in 49 innings pitched this year. So what's important for him facing these Rangers, if he's going to miss down. Miss off the plate with your secondary pitches. And facing a guy like Harrison, the Royals are only 18 and 24 against left-handed starters this year. They've got to find a way to get to him early and gain some confidence.
And even though they hit 5 home runs yesterday, that's all the Texas Rangers did yesterday on offense, getting all 8 of their runs with the long ball. Kansas City Chevy Dealers, the official vehicle of the Kansas City Royals. And by the Missouri Lottery, when you play, students win. Coming up, Joel and Monty will preview Texas Rangers starting pitcher Matt Harrison.
5 yesterday, ends up going 7 innings and 3 runs. Next challenge for the Royals, Matt Harrison, who went 6 2/3 and gave up 2 runs against the Royals last month. Joel Goldberg back at rivals with Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery. Harrison, one of 5 pitchers in the AL with at least 15 wins, but he's best on the road. Any idea why?
Well, the 26-year-old lefty has been good on the road. In fact, he's 10-4 on the road with a 3.05 ERA. Throwing the ball really well on the road. I talked with Steve Busby, the Rangers broadcaster and Royals Hall of Famer, about that split. He said it's just a matter of coincidence. It's not just him getting away from Arlington in the ballpark. He's pitched well both home and on the road.
All right, he takes on Jeremy Guthrie in this one, a rematch of August 3rd, back when Guthrie went 6 innings and 3 runs for the loss. Guthrie throws the first pitch. Ryan and Rex are back with the first pitch call next.
Definition by Time Warner Cable, the official TV, internet, and home phone provider of the Kansas City Royals. Another good night to hit, and here's the Rangers lineup for tonight, which is one change. Mitch Moreland will bat 9th. He'll be at first base. And with 5 home runs last night, the Rangers are now 4th in the league in home runs, and they have 5 in the lineup with 15 or more home runs, including leadoff hitter Ian Kinsler, who has 16. And now here's the key report on Jeremy Guthrie.
Tune-up has worked. The Royals are 5-0 in his last 5 starts, so they do win when he's pitching his good games. Now, ground him. Rangers hit 5 homers yesterday. Guthrie's only given up 5 home runs in 49 innings. No joshing around. Hamilton has 2 homers lifetime versus Guthrie. Try to keep the ball in the yard. You got a good chance of winning.
Defensively for the Royals tonight, brought to you by Ford.
Okay, you're seeing Frenchie back out there, hoping he has a good night. He needs some confidence, but I like to talk about Moose tonight. Billy Butler, though, he's over at first base. I can't let him go. But Moose is ready for action, and Guthrie raves about his young defenders behind him. Talks about how they go the extra mile to make the play. I mean, he's having a fantastic fielding season, and he's ready for some more action. And Billy loves it when he gets a chance to play both sides of the ball.
And with a left-hander on the mound for Texas, Eric Hosmer gets the night off. And Tony Abreu will be the DH as Guthrie is in with a fastball for a strike. Kinsler was quiet as the Rangers were piling up 8 runs and 5 home runs yesterday. He was 1 for 5. He had been scratched the day before because of a stiff back. And now he pops it up, and Billy in the coach's box makes the play. And with 2 pitches, Guthrie has his first out. More July and August-like weather. 92 degrees right now, up to 97 in some parts of the city today. And that hot weather is supposed to continue through Thursday and then down into the 80s by Friday. We started at 7:11 tonight, and the time and temp is brought to you by the parking spot.
Very slight breeze tonight blowing from the right field foul pole to the left. Not a whole lot of wind up there, but you mentioned it earlier. It's a great night to hit.
Good movement on that fastball. Strike one to Andrews.
That's a nice little two-seamer he's got working for him, and he's got a little bit of movement the other way with his slider. He's got a nice overhand curve and a changeup that he'll use that goes away from lefties and into righties. But the fact that he's got a little more turn in his delivery and his upper body gives him a little bit more life on his ball and is creating some different angles. One of the reasons he's been so successful. He's been in the workshop of pitching coach Dave Island, and it's working.
And that pitch stayed up, and Andrews drives it to left field and just over the wall. I was just talking about Kinsler being quiet yesterday. Well, Andrews was 0 for 5, but he makes up for that in his first at bat tonight. That's just his third home run of the year, and Texas has a 1-0 lead.
All right, if Guthrie's going to miss tonight, he can't miss there. Okay, that's out over the plate. If he's going to miss, he's got to miss down and on both sides of the plate. When he leaves it there, Ryan talked about the power they have from 1 through 9 and the success these guys have with their long ball.
Josh Hamilton hit his 38th home run of the year yesterday. That ties him for the league lead with Adam Dunn of the White Sox. He also leads the league with 114 RBIs. He also struck out 3 times yesterday. And now 2 balls and 1 strike on Hamilton. Guthrie with the Rockies and with the Royals had pitched 9 1/3 innings, allowing just 3 earned runs this year against Texas. And here's his start on August the 3rd. And that began his run after that start of not just good starts, but dominant starts. He had that streak of 24 consecutive innings without allowing an earned run, and that all began after the last time he faced the Rangers.
And he's pitching now with some conviction and also with confidence that he knows he can win. And before he had that start there that you just mentioned, he was a little bit unsure of himself.
And that pitch got a lot of the plate, and Hamilton singles to center field with 1 away.
Okay, there it is, center of the plate again. Might take Guthrie an inning or so to kind of get his gauge for his pitches, but you don't have long with a powerful lineup like this to gauge them. They can get you in a heartbeat.
And now Adrian Beltre with Hamilton at first and 1 out, and he had one of the 5 home runs yesterday. You know, this one was interesting because that wasn't even a strike. I mean, that was up above the letters.
Right. And that was a purpose pitch up there just so he would get a swing and miss on. But Beltre is a free swinger and liked it. Got his top hand on it.
Ed Yost said after the game that he really didn't feel like Bruce Chen pitched all that poorly. And you say, well, how's that possible? He gave up 6 runs in 6 innings and 4 home runs. But Ned's point was that he really felt that Bruce really only made 3 bad pitches. The home run to Soto, the home run to Hamilton, the home run to Cruz, and we just showed you the Beltre home run, which was out of the strike zone. But against this lineup, oftentimes 3 mistakes is enough.
You're right. Beltre. He looks to pull.
Got the call over the inside, 2-2.
3 Gold Gloves and 3 Silver Sluggers awards. That means that he's the best hitter and fielder in his position in the American League.
And he does pull it, and it's foul. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. And if Mike Moustakas wins a Gold Glove someday at third base for the Royals, and the Royals expect that he will, this is the guy he's going to have to get past as far as in the minds of the voters.
Well, Beltre should be able to retain his Gold Glove status after this year. He's had a really good fielding year. And then after this year, maybe Moose will get it.
Popped up, and Alex Gordon comes up in left field. That's the second out of the first inning. Hamilton back to first. Well, August was very friendly to Jeremy Guthrie. He only had that one bad start against Boston, but his earned run average was 2.33. Now, before this year, August was his worst month. 4.58 from 2004 to 2011. And if you take away that one bad start at Boston, which you can't do, but if you could, his earned run average would have been 1.00 in August.
Yeah, and that's because he's been able to execute his location of his pitches. It's pretty simple. When a guy's out there on top of his game hitting his spots, hitters aren't going to hit it, and that was really good for Guthrie to gain some confidence, because he didn't have any in the National League coming over here. In his first 3 starts here, he didn't have any success, but Dave Island said it would just take him a little time before he could regain that confidence.
You see that? One day after Yu Darvish pitched, fouled away by Cruz. Guthrie with a little Japanese style to his stretch. Did I see a little hesitation there in the middle of the motion?
He might have changed it up a little. He did.
I guess he was confident that Hamilton wasn't running.
He held it for a click or two.
And he strikes out Cruz to end the inning. Elvis Andrus hits the Rangers' 6th home run of the series and puts Texas in front. With a left-hand pitcher on the mound for Texas, Lorenzo Cain will lead off. Alcides Escobar is back in the lineup after a day off yesterday. Jeff Francoeur is back in there on right. So David Lowe, after starting 3 in a row, is out. Mike Moustakas moves down, and Ned Yost is going to stay with the hot bat. Tony Abreu will DH with 3 RBIs in each of his last 2 games. Matt Harrison, 26-year-old lefty, takes the hill for Texas.
Yep, you see those balls to strikeouts, 49 to 106. That's really good. He's been a very solid pitcher for these guys this year. He's got a good hard-sinking fastball. He can't reach 95 with a four-seamer, but he's better around 90-92 with a sinker. He'll also cut his fastball in on righties. He's got a nice curveball and a pretty good changeup, and he mixes them all, keeps the ball down. He's very effective.
He is a 15-game winner. Third most wins in the American League, 15-8. And the earned run average we showed you, 3.30. That's ninth best in the league. The Rangers have only had 3 lefties in their franchise's history that have won 16 games or more. And Harrison's trying to join that group. Kenny Rogers, Derek Holland, who's still with Texas, and C.J. Wilson. And with 4 pitches, he strikes out Lorenzo Cain.
Okay, he's going to come at you. You got to be ready to hit. That ball is really a good pitch for Cain. That's his pitch. He likes to turn on that. We'll see defending behind Harrison, sponsored by Ford. We talked about Moose on the Royals defense, and we got to talk about Beltre, because I was going to say that once Beltre wins his Gold Glove again this year, which is most likely he's only aired 8 times, which is a low mark for a third baseman, Moose might be the incumbent.
And there you go. Right on cue. Takes care of Escobar, and that's a more difficult play when a third baseman is playing in like Beltre was. He was on the grass.
He's fun to watch because he's creative. Hey, watch him how he just hops and sets his feet. You got to get your feet going towards your target you're throwing at, and that's what he does. He knows he's got it, shuffles his feet, and that's an easy throw for him. Moreland's over there at first base, does a good job. He's got a good glove. He's got some left-handed pop too.
And I think Beltre is your kind of guy, because it is a very rare moment when you see him on the field without a smile on his face.
Exactly. You know, he has fun. He's like Salvador Perez and Escobar, you know, Gordon. These guys all love playing, and some guys keep that close to their vest, and they don't show their emotions, but others do, and Beltre's one of them, and it's easy to see. Some guys eternally have fun, but they're intense on the outside. And they do that on purpose to let their opponents see that.
Here's the Royals' first hit. Alex Gordon with 2 outs. Picks up his 161st hit of the year. That leads the Royals. So he's at first with 2 down. Billy Butler comes to the plate. Billy always seems to like to hit against Texas. Here's the Toyota League leaders for tonight. Billy Butler and Adrian Beltre. Highest batting averages for hitters who have 25 or more home runs. So the combination of batting average and power. The rookie Mike Trout for the Angels is on top of the list. And as far as Billy against Texas, well, first of all, he's 8 out of 12 against this pitcher. 325 in his career against the Rangers. And he steps in tonight with a 10-game hitting streak against Texas going back to last year. 2 balls and no strikes.
You know, we could almost make up a statistic for every team we play against with Billy involved, because he's a great hitter. Great hitters, they dominate every team they play. Now, not all of them, but still, if you got good numbers when you're playing every day like he is, he's impressive. Very quiet. Got fooled on a changeup there. That's a great pitch. But Billy, when I say quiet, his feet stay still. He just lifts up his front foot and sets it down. There's not a lot of movement. Head stays perfectly still.
And Billy, as Bud mentioned last half inning, I'm sure he perked up when he saw the lineup card tonight and saw that he'd be playing in the field. Eric Hosmer getting the night off against a lefty, and Tony Abreu is the designated hitter.
And, you know, most managers will let a guy like Billy know if he's playing the field, since he doesn't play that often, before the game. Like last night, he might say, hey, get your rest, you're playing first tomorrow. So he had a little notice.
Alex jumping around over at first base, and that caught Harrison's attention.
That's a borderline inside strike there.
To Andrews, and he'll go the long way, and the Royals are down in the first inning. One of the best in baseball. Maybe you heard earlier today, Will Myers was named the consensus minor league player of the year. And we invite you to come out to the ballpark on Friday, September 14th. The Royals and the Angels. And the Royals salute our minor league players. And select players will be available for autographs before the game. You can get your tickets at Royals.com or 1-800-6-ROYALS. 1-0 Texas on a home run from Elvis Andrus in the first inning. And now Michael Young hit a 2-run home run in the 9th yesterday, turning a 6-4 game into an 8-4 Texas lead. And that was the final score. It's really been a down year for Michael Young. He had a huge season last year. He hit .338 with 106 RBIs. And you can see where he is today compared to where he was a year ago at this time.
And, you know, you got to give the guy a pass every once in a while. He's been very productive in the 10 years he's been a Ranger. He's been very solid. I mean, and unselfish. He came up a shortstop. They moved him to second. They moved him to third. He plays some first base. Anything that helps the team. You like guys like this. He's kind of a throwback player. Always hustles.
He had a stretch from 2002. Let me take that back. 2003 through 2007. 5 straight seasons when he had at least 200 hits. And then he had 213 hits again last year. Escobar from the outfield grass, and Billy couldn't handle the short hop. And Young is safe.
Billy was on it with his glove, but he just couldn't close it and keep the ball in it. Now, tough play. Ball hops up on Escobar, but you see how he's able to lift his glove in a natural way, sets his feet, gets on top, and just shorts hops Billy. And unfortunately, they'll give him an error. Actually, that was kind of a long hop, and he just couldn't find the handle. It makes you appreciate what Hosmer does over there. We see him do that, pick those balls cleanly all the time. And that wasn't a short hop, that was a long hop.
Well, now they're going to rule it a base hit. An infield single for Michael Young, as official score factoring in the degree of difficulty on both sides for Escobar and for Butler.
It's all right with Michael Young, too. He'll take the hit.
No balls, 2 strikes on David Murphy, who is 3rd in the league in hitting. And we were talking yesterday about how on Sunday he had enough plate appearances to qualify among the league leaders, so his name just popped up everywhere. 3rd in hitting, 3rd in on base percentage, best in the league with runners in scoring position. And since the All-Star break, David Murphy has been the best hitter in the American League as far as batting average goes, hitting .372.
Pretty impressive. It's a .372 batting average since the All-Star break.
Pretty good.
That's on fire.
Guthrie lets it go by, and Escobar turns it into a double play.
Whenever he gets close to the bag, whoever's playing second, he just says, step aside. At second baseman, you can see his body language. You know to back off the bag. And man, can he throw it. Put a clock on this throw, and it was probably 90 miles an hour or better. And he throws as his front left foot is touching the base. That eliminates the time. So he doesn't have to touch the base and then crow hop and then throw. He just throws as he's touching the base. Here, watch him. He's already wind up and he's throwing, and he knows right where the bag is. He knows exactly how to perform that. He just done it 100 times.
1-1 on Giovanni Soto. He hit the first of the 5 Rangers home runs yesterday, a 3-run shot in the second inning. Two balls, 1 strike. And for Soto, it was just his 3rd home run since being traded over to the Rangers from the Cubs. Three balls, 1 strike.
Ron Washington, they needed a guy who could catch a majority of the games because Mike Napoli has been out for quite a while with a bad quad, a left quadricep muscle. And if you're a catcher and you're squatting, that's the biggest muscle you use, the quad. He's had a hard time recovering and getting better.
That's Guthrie's first walk, and a man at first with 2 down. When we were talking about Futures Night, and Will Myers, the minor league player of the year. That's not just for the Royals, and that's not just for AAA. That's all minor leaguers in every organization. And here's why. He hit well over 300, 37 home runs to lead all minor leaguers, 109 RBIs, and remember, that's in a 5-month season. Here's some highlights for Myers at the Futures game here at Kauffman Stadium. Now, he hit 37 home runs and drive in 109 in a big league season in 6 months, and that's impressive. But to do it in 5 months is remarkable.
No, and I appreciate the fact that they recognize one of the many Royals talents that are down there. But he's had an outstanding year, but also he's got a great future. I'm sure that they weighed that in as well.
Moreland drives it to the gap in right center. Soto is not a fast runner. They're going to wave him home. And Escobar's throw is going to be cut off, and Billy Butler goes to third, and the Royals do cut down Moreland, but another run scores. And we head to the bottom of the second inning with Texas in front 2-0. So that was
Has been active in mission work and volunteering. She served as a pastor's wife for 40 years, which included multiple missions trips to India, Taiwan, and Argentina. She has also worked for the Impact Family Resource Center and done that for the last 8 years, still actively involved with the center and their food pantry. Eva's now 88 years old and resides in Blue Springs, sitting in the Buck O'Neill legacy seat at tonight's game.
Congratulations, Eva. You deserve that. And great service to humanity.
Salvador Perez, Jeff Francoeur, Mike Moustakas coming up in the second inning against Matt Harrison, who gave up one hit in the first, and Alex Gordon's single. Perez was off yesterday as Brian Pena was behind the plate as Bruce Chen was the starter. And Brian was involved in a little dust-up yesterday with Rangers right fielder Nelson Cruz. Did you hear Cruz's explanation about that after the game?
Yes, a little bit.
Saying he wasn't so much upset at Lewis Coleman, who hit him. He was upset with Brian, who got in his face and told him it wasn't on purpose. And he was mad at Brian because he felt like Brian was lying to him. Liar, liar, pants on fire.
Well, in the heat of the battle, things happen. You know, you're friends. You got friends that you play against all the time. But, you know, sometimes when you admire a homer, you know, that's what happens in baseball. 100 some odd years the game's been played. And when a guy takes a few steps towards your pitcher, you're going to get in between him. And that's what that was all about.
And in the end, much ado about nothing. Jeff Francoeur in there tonight. Breaks his bat, and the bat might have gone farther than the ball. No balls, 2 strikes. So here's what Cruz had to say about that incident after the game yesterday.
Yeah, it was obvious, you know. I mean, I don't have nothing against hit by pitch, you know. I think it's part of the game, you know. And I wasn't mad at the pitcher, you know. Just I want to show up, you know. You hit me, I'm here, you know. So I'm gonna go to the base, and then Brian, we played together in Dominican a few years, you know, and I know him pretty well. So he lied to me in my face and said,
well, he said he lied to me in my face, saying it wasn't intentional, and that's what got him upset.
Well,
your thoughts?
Well, he didn't go to first base. He took 3 steps towards the pitcher. If you're going to go to first, you take a direction towards first. That's going towards first.
He would have been out of the baseline if he took the route that he was headed on.
Yeah, and there wouldn't have been any benches cleared had he went to first base. And that's okay. It's time to turn the page on that, and that's over. But, you know, that's just part of the game, and he said that's right. And Brian Pena did what he had to do.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Jeff Francoeur. Francoeur played for the Rangers in 2010 after being traded from the Mets and played well. Rangers went to the World Series and lost to the Giants, and Francoeur appeared in 3 games in the World Series. Had a disappointing year with the Mets, but came to life in Arlington for the final month of the season and hit .340 for Texas. Tough pitch, and he goes down and gets it and drops it into left field for a 1-out base hit.
Hey, there you go, Frenchie. There's your base hit.
So 1 on, 1 out. Mike Moustakas to the plate, and let's bring in Joel Goldberg.
Third base coach Eddie Rodriguez has coached both of them, and I remember Eddie telling me in the past that Beltre's the best he has ever worked with and been around at third base. And so I asked him more about that today, and he said the reason is this. He said Adrian Beltre, about the first week of spring training, begins preparing for this by taking a bucket of balls and fielding them while he is on his knees, then another bucket while he is standing, and he does that over and over again. He said his preparation is amazing, his reaction time, his lateral quickness, his footwork. He's always in position to make that play like he did yesterday when that ball jumped up on him. I said, well, how does Mike Moustakas compare? And he said, this kid is getting there quickly. He is very, very close. The numbers are already there. Now it's just a matter of playing time, experience, and learning how to read the different hitters, knowing what a Nelson Cruz is going to do when he's up there, knowing what an Alex Rios is going to do when he's up there, and reading your own pitcher to put yourself in the right spot. He has every belief that Mike Moustakas is already one of the best and will be the best in baseball.
It's good stuff, Joel, but I'll tell you, Eddie Rodriguez, he knows.
1-2 on Moustakas. Eddie, third base coach and infield coach, and spent a lot of time in the Angels organization early in his career, then the Diamondbacks, the Mariners, the Royals.
But before that, his playing career, he was a good second baseman.
And Moustakas hits it to right field, fumbled around by Cruz near the warning track. Francoeur goes to third, and Mike Moustakas has hit in 8 straight games. The Royals have runners at second and third with 1 out.
Okay, ball couldn't quite get to the wall, or else it would have plated Frenchie. He would have scored easy. Cruz bobbled it once, but was able to get it back in. He's got a good strong arm. And Moose gets his 30th double.
And here's the RBI man, Tony Abreu. 3 RBIs on Sunday, 3 RBIs yesterday.
And he's a free swinger that's under control. I mean, he's not just swinging wildly, but he likes to swing at pitches, and that's good for right here. I mean, that's what he's been doing. He's run producing. He's 8 for 12 with runners in scoring position for a .667 average. He's in the right spot right here.
No balls, 2 strikes. Some research revealed that Tony Abreu, in his first 153 games in the big leagues, had 1 3 RBI game. And now he has 2 in his last 2.
Well, I'm really happy for him to go ahead and do what he's doing here, because he's been waiting a long time, 2 years since he's been on the big league team, and he's paid his dues, and this is what you do to stay. You produce. You come up here, and the fact that he's got 2 young kids that I saw him with, his lovely wife, he's told me that he's playing for his family, and that makes him a little more dangerous.
And he's down on 3 pitches, and he had been not only a clutch hitter in the past 2 games, but very good with 2 strikes. And that's Harris in second. It comes at a good spot.
I think the meeting they just had on the mound messed him up. I think the meeting, he might have thought, they're going to throw me, give me some pitches out of the zone, and it got him thinking. And that's the problem sometimes when a catcher goes to the mound and you got 2 strikes on you and they're talking about you. You have too much time to think instead of react, and he's a reactive hitter.
So 2 out there now for Johnny Giavotella. 1 for 2 with a walk yesterday and a run scored, and Harrison's in there for a strike.
Got a guy in trouble like this, you got to get a base hit. You want to get back in this game, you got to get big hits off big pitchers. Gio's been a pretty good hitter with runner in scoring position, .321. He's done his share of damage.
That's almost 100 points better than his overall batting average.
Right, so perfect time for it. Just find a hole, shorten up your swing a little bit. Royals have been excellent this year with 2 out RBIs.
Giavotella, he's not big, but he swings a big bat and has some power, but the Rangers certainly don't think he has any power. They are shallow all the way around.
Gio could get into one or hit a gap. He could run all night. Hamilton very shallow in center. Cruz the same in right. Murphy not as shallow in left. 2-2.
Yep, since August 20th, the Royals hitters are hitting .376 with runners in scoring position. One of the best marks in baseball. So that's a little breaking ball here, or just there that Johnny saw. But now he's got to spread out a little bit, make the plate a little bit bigger, and can't get called out looking.
Full count. Francoeur is at third. Moustakas is at second. And Giavotella is still alive. And that's about all he could do with that pitch.
That was his changeup. So he's not going to do the hitter a favor right here and let him get back in the game by throwing him a fastball down the middle. Big league pitchers have command of all four pitches usually, and Harrison looks like he has tonight. So 3-2 change, he might do it again.
Said it's a fastball. And we'll do it again.
Got to look for the fastball. And when he gives it to you like that, try not to miss it. And then you adjust to the other pitches. So you can't be too far out front over your front foot. You spread out a little bit. Seitzer would do the same thing. And he loves to preach right back up the middle. Keeps you on the ball, and then a ball inside, maybe 2 or 3 inches inside, you'll go ahead and react to that and pull it. But if your approach is up the middle, you're going to have more success.
Still 3-2. And Giavotella works the middle of the field. He's a good opposite field hitter. And for most of his professional career, he has been a number 2 hitter, which means when a runner's at first base, a good number 2 hitter will aim for that hole on the right side. So a left-hand hitter trying to pull the ball, right-hand hitter trying to go the other way. And that's at the knees for a strike. So the Royals had 2 in scoring position with 1 out. And Harrison strikes out Abreu and Giavotella.
you say, private functions last night, doing something that many Americans do this time of year. They had their fantasy football drafts. Here's the Cliffs Notes version of what went on. Jeff Francoeur, he's the defending champion, and he says he is very confident, he tells me, that he will be able to repeat. Billy Butler is the most enthusiastic of the group when it comes to fantasy football, and he said he is not the least bit worried at all about Frenchie. Frenchie says Billy usually is pretty good at this, but he said that yesterday he drafted with his heart instead of his head by going with RG3. He's a big Redskins fan. He also said Billy, constant interrupting of the draft, no surprise there. As for the No Clue Award, Billy says that would go to the man sitting on the front step there, Brian Pena. The biggest concern in the clubhouse today, guys, was this, is that they're worried that Pena is going to get robbed in a trade by his good friend Bruce Chen. Chen made 2 draft day trades, and they're afraid that basically he's going to give Chen whatever he wants for a trip to dinner and nothing more. So they're trying to keep that from happening, and they say that's why we have a trade committee. Toughest competition out there, they say Royals Director of Media Relations, David Holtzman, but they think that's because David's brother is a reporter for ESPN, and they don't think that's a fair advantage. And most interesting, Week 1 matchup, the team of Hosmer and Getz. I think they're going to take it to Frenchie, led by Tom Brady, guys.
All right, Joel. Ian Kinsler begins the 3rd inning with a double. So the Rangers already with a run in the 1st and in the 2nd, and now a runner at second base with nobody out. 37 doubles for Ian Kinsler.
And another ball hittable. Elevated. Kinsler was waiting, got a good short, compact swing.
Hey, Joel, Dave Holtzman is the commissioner, isn't he? Royals Director of Media Relations.
I think David is the commissioner. See, they want him to do all the work, but then they don't like any unfair advantages.
And Moustakas makes a good play on the butt by Andrus, who leads the league in sacrifice bunts. That's his 13th. And he gets Kinsler to 3rd with 1 out.
I love the trash talk, though. I mean, they've been trash talking this, guys, for weeks.
Moose had time to glove it and throw over the top. But I tell you, Andrus does that on his own. They don't even have to give him a sign for that. He knows the situation. He's a very sharp young player, and that helps your team get runs. So Ned Yost has to bring the infielders in.
Fouled away by Josh Hamilton. A single to center field in the 1st inning. Hamilton has not been a great hitter against the Royals in his career. He hits right around 230. So the Royals have pitched him well over the years. He has gotten some big hits, and he homered yesterday. Perez to 3rd. Kinsler is out.
That's a quick way to erase a run. Heads up by Salvi. Now Moose was moving in, tells me they had that plan. So either Moose or Salvi has a little sign they give whenever they think they can get a guy, and Kinsler got too far off and couldn't even get to the base before Moose tagged him. Great pickup there.
Big swing and a miss by Hamilton. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Salvador watches those runners. He can see everything from behind home plate. He wants his ball.
Look at that target. You don't see that very often.
No, he was fully extended, wasn't he?
There was no doubt as to where Salvador Perez wanted that pitch. Reaching up over his mask. And now wants it down and in, and that's where it is. And Hamilton strikes out. So a lead-off double, a sac bunt. Perez picks off Kinsler, and the Rangers are scoreless in the 3rd. September 14th, it's another Buck Night and Fireworks Friday. Hot dogs, peanuts, and soft drinks are just $1. And then after the game, another Friday night fireworks spectacular presented by Hy-Vee and Pepsi. Go to Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS. That's the Royals and the Angels. Two 2-0 Texas, and Matt Harrison, who worked around second and third, one out in the second, now pitching to Lorenzo Cain, and Harrison struck him out in the first. So Harrison has 3 strikeouts already. Lorenzo was 0 for 4 yesterday, but had 3 hard hit outs. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So the league has made an adjustment to Lorenzo Cain. Remember how well he swung the bat right after the All-Star break, coming back from the DL, and now batting at .242.
Yeah, you know, he was aggressive early when he got up here. He was swinging early in the count, and he stopped doing that so much. So sometimes when the word gets around that you're aggressive on first and second pitches, the league adjusts and they say, okay, we're going to give you off-speed pitches out of the zone then. So he stopped laying off of those first few pitches, and I think that's something he doesn't want to do. He wants to continue to stay aggressive, especially in that leadoff spot, hitting his way on base. He's not really a walker. He's more of a hacker. It's 14 walks and 185 at-bats coming into tonight.
He's fouled off 4 in this at-bat. Ed Yost getting a look at Cain. Dyson is out with a sore shoulder. And the past 3 games, David Lowe in the leadoff spot.
Now, Lorenzo, if you ask Ned, he'll tell you that he's more of a 5, 6, 7 type hitter in the order, but he's got really good speed, and he's trying him up here in the top slot.
And even with David Lowe, Ned said yesterday that in a best case scenario, he doesn't have to use David Lowe as a leadoff man, but the Royals are just taking a look at everybody as they're pretty set for the rest of the batting order. And now Cain will be safe on a play that could go either way. It's an error on Kinsler.
Okay, might have been ball 4. Kinsler came in, and a play coming in like that typically is a play that should be made. However, the official scorer, if they'd have gave Cain a hit, I wouldn't have argued with him.
Ball 1-2, Alcides Escobar. That was Kinsler's 13th error. Escobar, right when we were talking about Adrian Beltre and how good he is defensively at third base, Escobar hit a high hopper to third, and Beltre playing in, leaping up to grab it and threw him out. And that makes Escobar 0 for his last 21. One ball, 1 strike.
I talked with him before the game, and I said, you know, you picked to have a day off yesterday. He goes, I know. I could see what Yu Darvish was throwing, and he said, when I saw the first hitter strike 1 at the knees at 95 and then the curveball that he threw him second pitch, I said, ooh, he's going to be good today. So he was okay with the day off yesterday.
That ends the string, and Lorenzo Cain will go to third base. Eddie Rodriguez will wave him home. So not only does Escobar break out of his slump, he drives in a run, and it's a 2-1 game in the third.
Pulls his hands in. That's a ball that was 3 or 4 inches inside, but he pulls his hands inside and is able to straighten that baby out. That's the only way you can keep a ball fair like that, is by keeping your hands way inside the ball. And he did. Cain with good speed scored with no problem. Andrus, I don't even think, even if he would have held on to the ball, I don't think they would have gotten it.
26 doubles adds to his career high, and Escobar now just 3 RBIs away from that career high. And now talking to Elvis Andrus, his buddy from Venezuela. Those two grew up idolizing Omar Vizquel. Remember a couple of years ago, and Andrus was new on the scene, very young shortstop. Rangers are going to make him the everyday shortstop. Texas brought in Omar Vizquel to be the backup and a mentor to Andrus. Alex pulls it to the right side, and that's a productive out that gets the tying run to third with 1 away. Alex is 1 for 2.
Okay, a productive out. I'll show you Escobar's swing. Now this is a swing that you can't teach because it's way inside, but he's able to pull his hands inside the ball. And his hands were right up there close to his chest. And he's able to have a nice flat barrel in order to keep it from not hooking by the bag.
So 1-1 to Billy Butler. So now the leading RBI man is at the plate with a tying run at third. Billy grounded out to short first time up. He is still 8 out of 13 in the pass against Harrison with a home run. One and one. So we're coming up on a month since Billy Butler's last home run, which was number 99 for his career. So he's been stuck on that for a while. And now we'll back out as Harrison was taking a long time picking up the sign.
Well, he might as well go ahead and do it right here. Give Guthrie the lead.
And he was trying to take a shot to the right side there with a pitch down and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
A couple years ago, we got a shot off of Harrison here. Billy Butler, opposite field, just like you said, Ryan. He was trying to shoot the ball that way.
In the air to center. Hamilton makes the play. Escobar comes down the line, and Escobar is safe. Soto thought he got him as Escobar slid to the inside. Lance Barksdale is the home plate umpire, and he said no, and now Ron Washington jumps out of the dugout. Royals have tied the game at 2. Billy Butler with his 86th RBI of the year.
Hey, nice job, Eddie Perez. If Hamilton comes in another 5 feet, he probably holds him there. And Hamilton threw it all the way on the fly. And the argument was that he caught it and tagged him at the same time, but I didn't ever saw a tag. Maybe we can see it from this angle here.
Maybe arguing that Escobar's right knee or thigh hit the glove on the slide.
Could have, and then I think he knew that Barksdale maybe couldn't see that tag, but he tried to sell it anyway. Anyways, nice throw by Hamilton. Good try. Yep. Escobar stayed on the inside part of the plate, and it did. You were right, Ryan. He tagged him on the knee there. But I'm not so sure that Escobar's foot wasn't already on the plate. Anyway, there was a little argument, and Barksdale did the best he could. Tie game.
Perez flied to center in the second inning. He's hit in 8 straight games.
How many times do we have to see that replay to see that he did touch him? 3 times, 4 times?
Third or fourth look.
Yeah, 4 angles. You know, that's hard.
And it's not the angle that the umpire gets.
No, he only gets 1 shot. So
he's on the other side. So I think what Barksdale saw was that Escobar went by, and Soto was still looking in his glove to see if he had the ball. as Cruz comes up to make the play. The inning began with an error. Escobar puts an end to an 0 for 21. He drives in a run and scores the tying run. You can get a head start on your weekend by coming out to Singles Night, presented by Fox Sports Kansas City. That's Thursday, September 20th against the White Sox. A $15 ticket includes $10 in value and access to a pregame party with DJ Ashton Martin at the Captain Morgan Bar starting at 5:30. Those two met last year at Singles Night. Now they're married with 5 kids.
Hey, go ahead.
Yeah.
Singles night, it's totally legal.
Oh, and 2 from Guthrie to Adrian Beltre. He flied to left in the first inning. And he strikes out. Beltre's had a bad time against Guthrie in his career. And with that strikeout, he is 5 out of 31. So he does not pick up the ball at all. And Guthrie has his 3rd strikeout.
Won't hurt Guthrie's feelings. Wouldn't bother the Royals at all if Beltre didn't get another hit in this series. But you never know. A guy comes up with big hits when they need them. Beltre's a solid big leaguer.
With Cruz at the plate, and not to beat a dead horse, but the question came up with a new umpiring crew. You talked about this, or Joel talked about this yesterday, that the umpiring crew that was here for the Minnesota series, they stayed until yesterday. So this is a new umpiring crew. They have been briefed on what happened yesterday, but there was no warning issued before the game. No balls, 2 strikes.
No, and I think that's good. Look, it's over. New day. Now, had the same umpiring crew been here, it could have been different. They might have said something when they take up the lineup cards at home plate. That doesn't mean that it's a big, hey, we're going to wave our hands and say you guys are warned, but it might have been discussed.
There's that little hesitation again by Guthrie in the middle of his motion. And Cruz lines the center field. He's 0 for 2. 2 down in the 4th. Let's go to Joel.
Up with the umpiring crew, and I asked Gary Cedarstrom, the crew chief, about that because it is a little bit of a different situation that this crew taking over in game 2. And he said, we get reports every day from the league, so we're very aware of what went on yesterday. And I said, I figured that was the case. I said, would any warnings be issued before the game? And he looked at me and he said, would there be any reason that we don't know that there should be any warnings? I said, not as far as I know. He said, no, they're aware of what went on. And then they kind of joked and said, just lost the ball, pitching inside. That's what they said. I said, yep, that's usually the way it goes. But they're aware of it. They keep their eye on it. They're kept abreast on everything, whether it's their crew or not. Maybe the more challenging ones are when something happens and then later on in the year there's the potential for retaliation and they didn't work that series and time has gone by. But in this case, very aware of what's going on.
All right, 1 ball, 1 strike on Michael Young. He reached with an infield single in the 2nd inning. That was not a swing. So it's 2-1. Good pitch over the outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Down and on the outside corner. Full count. David Murphy's on deck. To Escobar. On the money and then dropped by Billy Butler. That is an error on Butler.
Wow. Now, Escobar will get an assist for that, but Billy will also get an error on a clank. Basically, that's what that was. He misjudged it. Big leaguers do that occasionally, especially when you don't get a chance to play out there at first base maybe once every 3 weeks maybe.
This is his 13th game of the year at third base. Last year he played in just 11, and Ned Yost said in spring training that Billy would get more time, or he hoped that Billy would get more time this year. Hasn't been a whole lot of time, but more games than last year.
At first base. Yeah, well, you know what? Turn a page. Hopefully it doesn't hurt him with 2 outs here. And Guthrie's going to say, you know what? He's going to say a word in there. Because Billy Butler, he's going to win this game for him tonight. If he can get Murphy out here, no damage.
And now he's ahead of Murphy. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Murphy grounded into a double play in the 2nd inning.
Ooh, that's a good spot there. Now Murphy, he kind of shook his head, but there's no way he was going to even touch that. Repeat it. Tried. Murphy, tall, long arms, long legs, good leverage on the ball. He can hit for power, hits the gaps, having a career year. Good baseball body.
Great catch. How about that? And the Texas fan immediately shows everyone the hook 'em horns.
Well, yeah, he's not exactly a young fan either. That was one heck of a snag, but he brought his glove. Nice play.
Popped up. And Moustakas backs up to the grass, so no harm after the Butler error. To the bottom of the 4th inning, the Royals and the Rangers are tied at 2.
Your Midwest Ford dealer. And by AT&T, the world's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. So tied at 2 on a beautiful night in Kansas City. Royals playing their 135th game of the year. Rangers scored 1 in the first, another run in the second, and the Royals scored 2 in the third. Escobar and Butler driving in the runs. 1 ball, 1 strike on Jeff Francoeur, who singled with 1 out in the second inning, and then Moustakas doubled. The Royals had second and third and 1 out. Harrison pitched out of that with strikeouts against Abreu and Giavotella, and his defense let him down when Kinsler made an error to begin the third, and the Royals turned that into 2 runs. 3 and 1 on Francoeur.
Okay, this at bat here will make Kevin Seitzer happy. He wants Frenchie to be a little more selective up there and not be so aggressive in swinging at the first 3 pitches the guy throws. Sit down for him.
Dive by Murphy and a good play.
Darn it, look at him, man. He hit that ball hard. He's been working hard in the cage, trying to shorten up his swing. And he hit a nice ball there that had some topspin on it. And wouldn't you know it, the way those outfielders could close that ground. And Murphy, a nice athlete, lays out. Harrison says, you know what? I appreciate that. I might buy him a Pepsi after the game for that catch. Now, that's just really hard luck for a guy who's been looking for hits.
Harrison not very happy about that. I don't blame him. He's right in the middle of his motion when timeout was called.
But the umpire does not have to grant that.
No.
He can see that the pitcher's already in his motion and not say a word to the hitter. And then in between, when the catcher throws the ball back, the umpire can say, you got to let me know a little sooner. I can't do that to the pitcher. Moose calls time. But
wow.
See, yeah, he didn't have to. He didn't have to give it to him there.
Kinsler makes a play for the second out. I don't know if I've seen that called that late before. Pitcher already in his motion. Sometimes a pitcher will be in his motion and time had been called, and Soto's talking to Lance Barksdale about that right now. I remember Soto and Barksdale were arguing last inning about a play at the plate. There have been times where a pitcher, time has been called and he's in his motion, but he's not looking at home plate, and by the time he looks up, he realized time has been called, but he was in his motion before Moustakas asked for time.
And for a pitcher, even though it's hard, you just need to continue your windup and delivery and throw the ball, whether it's to the backstop or not, but that way you won't hurt yourself, because sometimes that could cause an injury.
Abreu was a big out for Harrison in the second. He came up with runners at second and third and 1 out, struck out looking, and then Harrison got Giavotella. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Sometimes hitters expect that when they take their hand off the bat and they ask for time, they expect it's going to be granted. Doesn't always happen.
Beltre handles a difficult hop, guns it over to first. Royals are down in order, and at the end of 4, we're still tied at 2.
And the first question comes from Ben Roberts. It is for Rex, and it says, HUD, which Royals pitcher would you not charge the mound on? Broxton's gone.
Good question. It's for you, of course. Which Royals pitcher would be the last guy you'd want to charge?
You know, I'm not going to charge the mound because I don't want to jeopardize my teammates of getting hurt. So if I have a problem, I'm going to walk around the next day of the game, and I'm going to go over there to their side and ask for him to come out, and we'll talk. And then if he wants to throw, we throw.
Did you ever charge him out in your big league career?
Not in the big leagues. I did one time in the minors. A guy threw at my head 3 times in a row, and he finally missed me, and I had to protect myself. That's the only reason I went. But I did make a trip to the other side of
the question,
clubhouse.
though, HUD.
What was it? I was talking with Doc.
No, the question, I know, that's okay. The question, HUD, is that if you could charge the mound, what Royals pitcher would you charge the mound on? Broxton's gone, so, I mean, that would be, or wouldn't you charge the mound on that?
None of them
would be the obvious.
None of them would scare me. If I had to go to the mound, I'm going. I don't care how big, how small. If I feel like it's worthy enough to go, I'm going. I don't care who it is. It could be Paul Bunyan. It could be Randy Johnson.
Paul Bunyan had a heck of a sinker, I heard.
Look, you got to take care of business, but you know, like I said, I'm not going to the mound.
You would find a way to annoy the pitcher if they were.
No,
doing that.
I'm going
Yes,
to get
you
on
would.
first base, and his middle infielders might have a little injury after I go through sliding there, and then those infielders are going to go over to the other side, and they're going to say, you know, when we need to retaliate against this team, pick somebody else. Don't pick that guy. Pick somebody who's a little softer, who's not going to hurt us out there. That guy's going to break my leg. Don't get him. And that's how you get satisfaction out of that.
All right, so who did you get really good in your big league career after you got plunked? Middle infielder.
Some guy named Ozzie Smith.
Really?
Dumped him on his ear. In Busch Stadium.
When you were playing for the Cardinals?
No, I was in Montreal Expo.
So were you later teammates?
We were.
Yeah.
And what did he say to you? We already talked.
They were all actually the next day. I got on second base somehow, but I got on there and Ozzie walked over to me and he said, "Hey Rex, how you doing tonight?" And that made me feel so proud that he knew my name.
I like the what was it? Joe McGrain when we were in Tampa was saying how you ticked him off, and then suddenly you guys were teammates shortly after that too.
Yeah, you know, they were a little bit nervous about me, but I told them once I joined them, look, it's okay, guys. I'm your buddy.
All right,
I love you.
Here's one from Chris Coleman. This is a good question. This year's record shows KC plays better overall against the better teams than teams with worse records. I wonder why that is. That has played out over and over again, guys, with the losses to teams like Minnesota and Seattle when they were struggling, and the teams that have been at the bottom, and then playing well against the Chicagos of the world. Any thoughts? I mean, Monty, I know Monty has just talked about focus.
I'm going to say day to day, any team can beat any team. And it's not that you try harder against one team than the other. Maybe that's just the way it is. Sometimes, though, I can tell you from experience that you like playing against bigger teams that were in the standings because, you know, they usually have the media with them and everybody wants to be on. So there might be some incentive to playing against different teams, the bigger ones. But you're trying to beat the Seattle Mariners just like you're trying to beat the New York Yankees.
You know, I heard the other night a post-game interview after Detroit beat the White Sox. I think it was the first game of that sweep. And the comment from the Tiger player was, you know what, we needed to get our focus back, and maybe getting out of Kansas City and getting into a big-time series caught our attention. And I think it's interesting that they went then and swept the White Sox in the battle for first place and then have gone back and now are struggling against the Indians.
Yeah, you never know in ball. But a nice pitch there, and Moreland knows that he's got to go. Good spot.
Here's what we showed you last night, and the Royals are in a stretch now where they will play 9 of 11 series against first or second place teams, and the two teams in the italics on the right side, Boston and Minnesota, are the exception. They're the only teams that were not
in first or second when the series began. And the Royals have played very well against the first and second place teams, but we're just a combined 2-5 against Minnesota and Boston.
Well, I can't tell you that I talked to Ron Washington, and he said that he told his guys, this race is getting tight. Let's not come into Kansas City and overlook this ball club because they'll set us back. So he's smart, and smart managers before series like that aren't against contending teams will have that meeting with their players just to remind them, hey, look, guys, look, our focus doesn't change day to day. We're still got to win games, and this team here has some guys that can beat you.
Three 3-0 on Ian Kinsler. And now he will walk. And I don't want to misquote Ron Washington, but you just shed some light on a comment he made after they took 2 out of 3 from Cleveland prior to coming to Kansas City. And he said along some lines, I don't remember it exactly, but talked about coming to Kansas City and winning 4 games. Now, on one hand, you could say, well, that's kind of disrespectful to the Royals that you think you can just come in here and win 4 games, even though right now they're the best team in the American League. But based on what you said, Hud, maybe that's more of a message to his own guys than it is to the Royals that, hey, we want to go in there and win 4 games, as opposed to they lose their focus by coming in and facing the Royals, and the next thing they know, they leave town having lost 3 out of 4.
Back in May on the 14th and 15th, when the Royals went in there for a little 2-game series, they had just played the Angels to a big series there, and they were pretty happy as they did well against the Angels. And those guys, I was around the batting cage, and they were all pretty confident and everything. But Ron Washington, when I said, hey, look, we're playing pretty good ball, no way did he expect to be swept in 2 games by the Royals in their ballpark with their lineup.
Mm-hmm. And the Rangers are 3-3 against the Royals this year, so it's even, and we're even here tonight. A 2-2 tie in the 5th inning. And now 1-1 on Elvis Andrus. He had a solo home run in the 1st inning.
Do you think that when the Royals get on the plane and they go to Chicago this weekend, that Robin Ventura is not going to say something to his guys about, hey, look, fellas, I think we remember what these guys can do to us.
Otherwise, call Ozzie Guillen.
One hop to Moustakas. He hooks up with Giavotella for the force on Kinsler. To the bottom of the 5th inning. It's the Royals 2 and the Rangers 2.
start with one from at Monarch Bowler. Do you think Will Myers and Jake Odorizzi will be called up after the playoffs in AAA, even though neither are on the 40-man roster? Odorizzi starts game one of the playoffs for Omaha tomorrow. I think the end of that question, guys, says a lot, the 40-man roster.
Now, Joel, you're more up to date on this than I am, but Odorizzi, the Royals need to put on the roster next year, and they have one more year with Myers, right?
Correct.
So if you bring up Odorizzi and put him on the 40-man, well, they're going to be doing that anyway. But the question around here becomes, do you want to put Will Myers on if you're not convinced he's going to make the club next year?
And, you know, there's a lot of talk that they would love Will Myers to make this team out of spring training. But really for the first time in a while, deciding on these 40-man rosters, and again, keeping it as simple as we can here, basically after 4 or 5 years, depending on when a guy is drafted, high school or college, they've got to be put on a 40-man roster, or if they're not, exposed to the Rule 5 draft, and you could lose someone. To take someone off the 40-man roster means other teams have a shot at them, and so they're trying to keep as many guys as they can. You talked, both of you, about Will Myers and the awards before, and we had J.J. Cooper from Baseball America on the pregame show today talking about the amazing year that Will had, and he also won today, by the way, guys, the USA Today Player of the Year. It's the first time a Royal has won both of those awards. Only the 7th player ever to win both of those awards, the first time a Royals ever won the USA Today. And so, look, everybody knows how good Will Myers is. The article from J.J. Cooper made a really interesting comparison, saying that Mike Moustakas put up very similar numbers in 2010, never ended up to the big leagues until June of 2011. And looking through the numbers, they're almost identical. 1 home run more for Myers this year than what Moose had back then. OPS just a little better for Moose. RBIs a little better for Moose. And so the Royals have been through this before.
Lorenzo Cain with a base hit to right field, so he's 1 for 3 tonight.
Joel, can you name some of the guys that had won that prestigious award like Will Myers?
Well, how about just in recent years? I mean, guys that have won it in recent years. Mike Trout won it last year. Jeremy Hellickson won it the year before that. Jason Hayward in the last few years. What J.J. Cooper said, Alex Gordon won it in 06. Tom Gordon won it in 88. What J.J. Cooper said that was interesting to me, and Hud, you asked this question before earlier in the game, is that this isn't just an award for best minor league player. He said maybe that's 75% of it, but 25% of it, they're saying, is going towards the prospects that they think are going to be the best too. And that's one of the reasons why he said they're so proud of this list right here. I mean, does anybody have any problem with the guys on this list? Those are all big-time players. Hayward had a little bit of a setback last year, but they're projecting these guys to be good too, and they believe that Will Myers is going to be a very good player. And here's another interesting thing that was in that article on Baseball America. They were talking about only 10 players in recent years, going back I think to the 60s, that have had 35 or more homers before age 22 at a level above high A. And the names on that list were guys like Canseco and Konerko, Moustakas, Myers, Lazinski. We're talking about some pretty interesting names there.
0-2 on Alcides Escobar.
Anyway, back to as far as the 40-man and all that, you know, if you are in a position like the Rangers right now, where they just brought up Jurickson Profar, and he may not be playing a lot, but he gives them a little something, maybe an extra edge, then you definitely, I think, look at doing that, the way the Orioles did with Manny Machado. The Royals aren't in that position right now, and may just wait.
Did the same thing with Eric Hosmer last year. We're thinking about maybe bringing him up where he would not qualify for arbitration until a 4th season, but they brought him up in May, so that made him arbitration eligible sooner than they had hoped. But he was ready to play, he was ready to be here, he was ready to be productive, and that's exactly what he was.
You know, I had an interesting tweet the other day. We get tweets every day on Will Myers, and understandably so. I mean, people want to see him. They wanted to see Eric Hosmer. They wanted to see Mike Moustakas. There wasn't as much of a buzz about Perez, but I think if people know now knew then what we know now, they would have felt the same way. And somebody said, don't the Royals know that the fans want to see him? And my reply back was, yes, but GMs typically don't poll the fans. And of course you want to see them. You're a fan. But, you know, organizations and general managers have a plan, and whether you like it or not, or whether it's what the fans want or not, they're typically going to go their route and not what public sentiment might be.
And I can imagine a fan saying, well, then why is David Lowe here? Because Ned Yost and Dayton Moore, like last year, they want that AAA team to be strong. They'd like to see them go win a championship and experience the postseason, even though there's a big difference between the Pacific Coast League and the big leagues. But, they want them to experience that. Like Lorenzo Cain spent very little time with the Royals last year because he went through the playoffs with AAA. But David Lowe was already on the 40-man roster.
That's the key. Key to everything.
Out at second base, Escobar will reach with 2 down.
They also, when you talk about wanting to win a championship, they also have an outfield there right now that has Derek Robertson and Will Myers and Mitch Meyer and Jason Bourgeois. And so you do look at all those guys that are on the 40-man, and whether it's Bourgeois or Robinson Mitch Meyer's not on it right now. Will Myers is not on it right now, but, they've seen Jason Bourgeois. They haven't seen Derek Robinson yet, but maybe the next in line of guys on the 40-man was David Lowe, who has played pretty good baseball for a few years at the AAA level. And so they get a chance to get a look at David Lowe and see what he might be able to contribute if he's in the mix next year. So it's an evaluation period for them with David Lowe, too.
Joe, can I share with you what a player thinks that's in AAA?
Yeah.
Having been, 4 or 5 years in AAA, being in the championships in a lot of those years, and when September came around, I was so disappointed when I didn't get called up when the team said, hey, we need you here, we want to win a championship. That crushed me because I want to get some major league time. I'm looking to go to the big leagues.
Some money, let's be honest.
Yeah, let's be honest. You're looking to pay some bills, and you want to get to the show. So for a player, and then most players don't ever voice their opinion like that. They all know they're a little disappointed. They're bummed.
Yeah, no question. And it's a little different maybe than when you were playing HUD in this sense. There's no question Mike Moustakas was disappointed when he wasn't called up a couple of years ago. There's no question Will Myers doesn't want to be up here. Now with them, it might not be as much about the money because, and this is where I say, unlike when you were playing HUD, the bonuses for those early picks are pretty darn good right now. And so guys like Myers, Hosmer, Moose, they got substantial bonuses. They want to be up here for the big league experience, the charter flights, the good clubhouses, the big-time players, the lights, the upper decks, and all that kind of stuff. And they would, of course, they'd rather be, even if it's sitting, than being down in the minors. But, as I was talking to Mike Moustakas today, as he pointed out to me, we don't make those choices. We're the players, and management makes those choices.
That ball's hit good.
And for Alex Gordon, that's a 2-run home run, and the Royals lead 4-2 in the 5th inning. On the topic of minor league players of the year, that's Alex's 11th home run and his 61st and 62nd RBIs of the year.
And 3rd home run off a lefty this year. Dead center field. I could tell when it was struck. I mean, I could hear it, the sound. And that's what you do with a ball that splits the middle of the plate. You go right with it and hit it over the 410 sign. Give your team the lead.
And it's the Royals' first lead in this series. And Billy got a pitch up and fouled it away. No balls, 2 strikes. Well, I would think Monarch Bowler is satisfied with the depth of that answer to his Twitter question.
Well, yes. Although I don't know if anybody's satisfied unless he's up.
Well, you don't see that happen very often. A ball gets past Beltre.
So give him a knock. That's a tough play. Ball ate him up.
And it is a base hit for Billy.
There you go. Degree of difficulty, short hop like that, and a Gold Glover. They put all that into play. And they may have some favoritism towards Billy Butler.
And now Perez, right center field, and that's deep.
Come on, Billy.
He is around third base, and he slides in on the RBI double from Perez, and it's a 3-run lead for the Royals in the 5th.
Hey. When it rains, it pours, and when the hits start hitting and they start happening, runs are produced. Salvi, hanging breaking ball. hit it exactly where you want to hit it. State kept his hands inside, shot it to the gap out there, and scored Billy all the way from first base. Got his head down. He knows that he's going to get some exercise this time around. Safe.
So Matt Harrison, a 15-game winner, is out, and now he's been knocked around in his last 2 starts. Chevy called to the bullpen, and Roy Oswalt comes on. The runner at second base, 2 down. As we celebrate Armed Forces Day here at Kauffman Stadium, presented by the National World War I Museum at Liberty Memorial and presented by Budweiser. Arrive early for a special pregame ceremony honoring our servicemen and women. Plus, the first 20,000 fans receive a camouflage KC cap presented by Sport Clips. Roy Oswalt, and he created a bit of a stir the last time the Rangers were here about a month ago when he pitched out of the bullpen in a game that the Royals won. Jeff Francoeur fouls it away. Oswalt, who signed late with the Rangers after the season had begun, so he wasn't with them in spring training, and was starting. He was bumped from the rotation. He was pitching out of the bullpen, and he came on in the 7th inning here at Kauffman Stadium and pitched 2 excellent innings with 4 strikeouts. And then he did not come back out for the 9th, pitching the 7th and the 8th. And for a guy who is stretched out to be a starter pitching out of the bullpen, Ron Washington was asked after the game why Oswalt only went 2 innings, and Ron Washington was just being honest and said, he told me he was done. And so he just went the 2 innings, and that was a story for a while after that, for a few days, and the Royals ended up winning that game in 10. 0-2 on Jeff Francoeur, who is singled, and he is lined to left on a diving play by Murphy.
Well, Oswalt has been an established big league pitcher for several years, and what comes with that sometimes is a big ego. And when we sign with a team in Texas, you know, his hometown state, he was expecting a little more, and when he didn't pitch up to the capabilities that they thought he should as a starter, they put him in the pen. His feelings were hurt a little bit. Probably didn't know Ron Washington before he joined the team. So it's taken him a little bit of time to get acclimated to his manager and his team.
Royals tied the game at 2 in the 3rd, and now they get 3 in the 5th. Alex Gordon with a 2-run home run. Salvador Perez an RBI double. Royals lead by 3.
And now they lead by 3. And on the other side, Jeremy Guthrie gave up runs in the first 2 innings and now 3 scoreless innings in a row.
Yeah, happy to see that. You know, he's holding the Rangers down till his offense could come back and help him. And look what they did. Gordon, nice 2-run shot over the center field wall. We got action, Ryan.
And the Royals with 5 runs against a 15-game winner. Matt Harrison, 2 of those runs were unearned.
Shocker, man. I was a little bit surprised all of a sudden. Here they come. And then, you know, Salvador Perez hitting behind Billy Butler. I think that's probably the best move of the year for Ned Yost. In my opinion, putting Salvador in back of Billy has solved a lot of problems for protection for Billy. And Salvador, he's answered.
Josh Hamilton is singled and struck out. And Guthrie's ahead. No balls, 2 strikes.
Pitchers love run support. Never knew a pitcher who didn't.
Guthrie strikes him out again. That's 5 for Guthrie tonight and 2 against Hamilton. Here's tonight's Sprint You Call It question. The best offense in the American League. Would it be the Tigers, the Angels, the Yankees, or the Rangers? Text 432-432. Enter keyword Royals followed by a space. A, B, C, or D. You want to go first, Hud?
I will, and I will agree with the statistics that say that the Rangers are the best offense in the American League. Statistics will back it. As far as average goes, they're at the top at 278. Angels are second in the league at 275. Detroit's 270. Boston Red Sox 268. And the Royals, there they are, 267. Yankees, they're 2 more spots down at 262. Who do you like?
Well, I like the Rangers. They don't run like they used to. The Rangers are 10th in the league in stolen bases. Not that they need to, but they were closer to the top in years past and had a better balance between power and speed. As Cruz gets underneath one and hits it to shallow left field. So I was going to suggest the Angels perhaps because of the balance, but I think I'll go with Texas. Guthrie with a 3-run lead gets the Rangers in order in the 6th.
Oswalt. Got the final out of the fifth, striking out Francoeur. Now Moustakas, Abreu, Giavotella coming up. Moustakas doubled in the second and popped out in the fourth. Popped to second. This is our Sonic Slam inning, and our contestant is Sherry Francis from Peculiar, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Sherry wins $500. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Sherry wins $25 grand from Sonic and the Royals. I think Moustakas has the only grand slam for the Royals this year. That was at Toronto. And Oswalt gets him on 3 pitches. One away in the 6th. Parents, there's still time to sign your kids up for Slugger's Blue Crew, presented by U.S. Toy. Members receive a batting practice jersey, a backpack, a water bottle, ticket vouchers, front of the line access for every Sunday fun run, and much more. All of that for just $20. Abreu. It's a one-hopper out to Andrews. So Abreu is 0 for 3. And if you're interested in Slugger's Blue Crew, go to Royals.com/Blue Crew or stop by the U.S. Toy Store in Leawood.
Those are nice summer haircuts right there for school, huh?
Speaking of school, it's a school night, isn't it?
I think so.
8:59 p.m. These guys are living right.
Get a chance to come to the game. They must have made their early grades.
Giavotella struck out and flied to center field. 0-2.
Oswald's a veteran pitcher with a lot of different pitches. Good hard fastball. It's sneaky. It's not as hard as it used to be, but he's got that good curveball and changeup that he uses, and he's very smart. And he can be a huge addition to this team, even out of the pen. Especially if they need somebody to come in a little bit long, even though he's probably shortened up a little bit. He's probably, I imagine he could probably go 50, 60 pitches if you needed him for that.
Hit well to center, and the Rangers were shallow again for Giavotella, who hits it over the wall for a home run. And that's his first home run in over a year in the big leagues. And the Royals lead 6-2 in the 6th inning. And remember earlier we were talking about how the Rangers are not playing Giavotella like he had any power at all.
Man, I'm going to tell you, shocked the house on that. That's the last thing I expected to see off of Gio's bat. Balls are flying out of center field here at the K tonight for the Royals. Short, compact swing on a fastball that was on the inside part of the plate. Stayed inside of it. I'll tell you, Kevin Seitzer is going to be thrilled with that.
And that's worth $500 to Sherry Francis in our Sonic Slam inning.
There you go, Sherry.
That's Giavotella's first home run in the big leagues in a year and a day. A year from yesterday when he homered off of David Huff of the Cleveland Indians right here at Kauffman Stadium. One and two on Kane.
You can't hit a ball any better than that. That's the bonus. To hit it in center field like that means you were right on it. Perfect swing. Bottle that up. Not that one, though.
Oswalt strikes out his third, but the Royals strike.
It's a good changeup, though.
4 runs for the Royals after being down early 2-0. Is brought to you by Panera Bread. Now with 24 KC Metro locations. Visit us online at PaneraKansas.com. By Thoroughbred Ford. The best deals on new Fords are at ThoroughbredFord.com. And by AT&T Uverse, the new wireless receiver from AT&T Uverse. Visit att.com/freeyourtv. Rethink possible. 4 straight runs for the Royals after tying the game at 2, and now 6 unanswered runs after the Rangers had an early 2-0 lead. Jeremy Guthrie has strung together 4 scoreless innings after allowing 1 run in the first and 1 in the second. Michael Young is singled and reached on an error. And all 3 times he has grounded to Escobar. Well, Michael Young is 1 for 3. Here's a look at our radar gun readings for tonight. And Jeremy Guthrie so far is topped out at 96 miles per hour. You can get download speeds up to 50 megabits per second with Time Warner Cable Ultimate Internet. David Murphy is grounded into a double play and popped out to third. One and one.
2-seam fastball is looking good tonight. He's keeping it down in a way. Now that first inning was a little bit rough for Jeremy to get his pitches together, but he's smoothed it out.
Hit well to right field, but playable for Francoeur. Makes the play right in front of the warning track. And Murphy is 0 for 3. Here's tonight's AT&T trivia question. Who holds the Royals record for most consecutive games with a run batted in? I know the answer because it's also, at the time, tied the American League record for most consecutive games with an RBI.
So it was substantial.
Giovanni Soto has walked and scored and flied out. 1 ball, 1 strike.
So do you want me to just start naming some Royals off?
Yeah.
How about Mike Sweeney?
There you go. Bingo.
Was that it?
Yep.
Wow.
Sorry, Al.
That was real sorry, because that was right off the top of the shallow head I got.
On this date in 1995, Mike Sweeney made his big league debut. And then in 1999, 13 consecutive games with an RBI. That was a heck of a year for Mike Sweeney. He was just hanging on to his Royals career. He was a third catcher. And then Jeff King, I remember in May of '99, retired out of nowhere, and the Royals didn't have a first baseman. So they used Mike Sweeney and Jeremy Giambi at that position. They platooned for a while. Sweeney ended up winning the spot and became a 5-time All-Star. Jeremy Guthrie in 7 innings has allowed just 2 runs, and the Royals lead by 4. Go to visitmo.com to start planning your next Missouri getaway. This is Chemet Vineyards and Winery in St. Genevieve, founded in 1990. Chemet Winery sits amid magnificent rolling hills, 310 acres of land, 30 acres of which are grapevines, approximately 70 miles south of St. Louis in the Ozark Mountain American viticultural area. And as we speak, HUD is looking up viticultural in his thesaurus. Viticultural area. How many viticultural areas have you been to in your life?
It's pretty fertile. I grew up in the central San Joaquin Valley in California, where they grow all the fruits and nuts for the world.
Yeah.
So I knew that.
So you're viticultured.
I am.
Yeah. Escobar, Gordon, Butler in the bottom of the 7th. Roy Oswalt got the final out of the 5th for Matt Harrison. He allowed Giovatella's home run in the 6th. 1 ball, 1 strike on Escobar. Alcides is 1 for 3, but that 1 hit was big for him and for the Royals, but especially for him, as it put an end to an 0 for 21. Doubled with an RBI in the 3rd inning, came around to score on a sac fly that tied the game at 2 in the 3rd. And then Escobar reached on a fielder's choice and scored on Alex Gordon's home run in the 5th. 2 balls, 2 strikes. By the way, after doing exhaustive research during the break, Mike Sweeney in '99, when he had 13 straight games with an RBI, he tied Taffy Wright of the 1941 White Sox.
Really?
Yeah. You know anything about Taffy Wright?
No, 13 games in a row. You'd think that someone would have more than that.
Murphy coming up in left and runs down the fly ball from Escobar. 1 down. And now Alex Gordon, who hit a 2-run home run to straightaway center field in the 5th against Matt Harrison. And Alex has 2 hits tonight.
That was his 11th home run, and now he's driven in 62. Ball one outside. Alex doubled in the game yesterday. It was his 45th of the year to continue to lead the American League, and that ties his career high from last year. And now Alex needs just 9 doubles to tie the Royals record. 54 by Hal McRae in 1977.
It can be done the way he hits, man. Talking to Kevin Seitzer about Gordon, he didn't really say a whole lot because Alex doesn't need a lot of work with some things. He's been very consistent, stays inside the baseball, shoots the ball all over, and he will recognize a pitch and pull it out of the yard. And that one to center field, boy, that was a big lift for Guthrie.
Another strikeout for Oswalt. That's his 4th. 2 outs in the 7th. After this series, the Royals have 8 more series until the season comes to an end. So Alex would have to average just a hair over 1 double per series. 9 doubles in 8 series to tie the record.
Easily doable. Well, we can say that. It's a lot harder to do, but he's that kind of player. I mean, he's having a year. Go ahead and finish strong. And anything that's to the left or right of any of the outfielders, why not take a chance? Even though individual stats, Gordon will tell you, aren't as important as team victories.
A shot foul off to the third base side. Billy last time up not only got an infield hit, but then scored from first on a double from Perez.
Safe. Look at Gordon messing with him.
One ball, 2 strikes. Let's go to Joel.
Got a good, quick, funny tweet on that one from Andrew W. Buck. All he said simply, hashtag country breakfast. That's what speed do.
Hit well to center field. Hamilton runs it down and then runs into the wall. So the Royals are down in order in the 7th. And at the end of 7, 6-2 KC.
Detroit again struggling with Cleveland. Baltimore just destroys Toronto and moves into a tie for first place with the Yankees losing at Tampa Bay, who's creeping up on them now in the wild card. Unbelievable stuff. The Vikings and the Bears 17-4. Jose Quintana an inning and 2/3 before he got the hook, giving up 5 runs, 4 earned. LA and Oakland scoreless, Boston and Seattle just underway. Let's go back to Toronto, where we're used to seeing a lot of home runs, oftentimes from the Blue Jays, but this coming off the bat of Mark Reynolds, and I think maybe tied with Oakland, guys, most amazing story in baseball this year. The Orioles and the A's, maybe more the Orioles, because it is September 4th, and they are tied with the New York Yankees for first place. Unbelievable.
Well, that gives the Royals some hope that things can be turned around rather quickly. That was not a slow climb for the Baltimore Orioles. There's never really an overnight success. There's a lot of hard work behind the scenes, but nobody expected Baltimore to be where they are right now this deep in the season. As Kelvin Herrera's the Chevy call to the bullpen here in the 8th. And the same for the Oakland A's.
Showalter, you know, he gets a lot of credit, but how about first-year GM Dan Duquette helping Buck get some of those what-if players? What if a guy goes down?
And he had been out of the game for a long time. How many years? I mean, I think it was like 10 years, wasn't it, between being general manager for the Red Sox and then for the Orioles?
Well, remember, guys, in the offseason, too, there were a lot of potential GMs, even assistant GMs, young guys. This will be the opportunity, a chance to be a GM of a team that passed on that. I think because they were worried that Buck Showalter would have too much control and didn't want to go into that situation. And maybe they still wouldn't. Maybe they want to go and start a team in a different direction. But, well, you got to give a lot of credit there in Baltimore.
Moreland grounds to Giavotella. Eric Hosmer is now at first base. Jeremy Guthrie going 7 innings tonight and allowing 2 runs. Now in 5 of his last 6 starts, he's gone 7 or more innings and given up 2 earned runs or less in 5 of his last 6 starts.
Boy, love his focus. Love his attention to detail in the game plan. And he'll be quick to praise Salvador Perez for the way that he retains the game plan throughout the game. But Guthrie's focus and his execution has been off the charts. Looks like he's a man on a mission.
He allowed a run in the first on a home run from Andrews, a run in the second on a double from Moreland, and then finished with 5 scoreless innings. He retired 10 of the last 11 and the last 7 in a row.
And outside of those first couple innings where he was missing out over the plate, his job when he missed against the Rangers was to miss down out of the strike zone, and he finally got that. He started mixing his pitches well, but keeping them out of the hitting zone.
And now Herrera strikes out Kinsler. 98 miles an hour with that fastball, 2 down.
Yeah, that's an unhittable spot there.
You know, Hud, when you look at the runs that Guthrie allowed, a home run to Andrews, that was his 3rd of the year. So, I mean, let's see how far you can hit it, and he hit a home run. It's not like he hung a pitch to Josh Hamilton with 2 men on base.
No, you're right. A solo shot. Second hit of the game. But he kept his focus. Didn't get rattled. He's a veteran.
Andrews shaking his head after that first pitch from Herrera. He's also dropped down a sac bunt, his league leading 13th, and he's grounded into a fielder's choice. 1 ball, 1 strike.
99 down in the zone on the corners like Herrera throws is really unhittable. I mean, you can hit it if it's about belt high, even at that velocity. And then there's this changeup. It's a 10-mile-an-hour difference, maybe a little bit more. But what a contrast between those 2 pitches. And Herrera, you know, he has a chance to be. Do they have a rookie reliever of the year? Because he's pretty impressive with the numbers he's got. Very impressive.
And with a 4-run lead in the 8th inning, Herrera faces 3 and retires 3. First replays.
Wow, you want to know why he's one of the best? Because he can do that. He throws behind runners at will. He's sharp back there. He can hit. He's in that 5th spot behind Billy Butler. Hits a nice double. Drives Billy in from first base. Salvador Perez is a player.
And he will lead off in the bottom of the 8th as the Rangers make a pitching change. And they will bring on Mark Lowe, which is a great name for a pitcher. 2.19 ERA, a 1.03 whip in 32 appearances. Walks and hits per innings pitched. So somewhat similar to almost like the reverse of on base percentage. You know, how often does a hitter get on base? Well, whip, on average, how many guys get on base per inning against him?
Yeah, that's a big fantasy league stat.
Off the end of the bat, Andrews goes out into left center field to get Perez, who is 1 for 4. Coming up the day after tomorrow, you can experience the new NightLifeKC.com lounge located on the Budweiser patio. Tickets are just $30. That gets you in the door, 2 beverage vouchers, a private DJ, plush seating, and much more. Come enjoy this unique atmosphere in an exclusive outdoor lounge. Go to Royals.com/NightLifeKC for tickets.
Private DJ.
Jeff Francoeur 1 for 3 has also lined out to left field, and David Murphy made a diving play to take a hit away from Francoeur. Over the outside, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Lowe throws a hard sinker. Slider, changeup. 6'3", 190.
Drafted by the Seattle Mariners out of the University of Texas, Arlington. And of course, the Rangers play in Arlington, Texas. That's the same alma mater of former Royals manager Trey Hillman and third base coach and bench coach Dave Owen when Trey Hillman was here, and also Hunter Pence. Three and 2.
Francoeur can set on something down out over the plate here, 3-2, something hard. He's got to challenge it.
And hit well to right field. 3 good swings, 2 hits for Jeff Francoeur.
Okay, he's on the ball. I like it. He's kind of a multi-hit game. And that's exactly where he was visualizing that ball to be, right over the plate. Pitcher's got to come in that count. 3-2, good short swing. And he goes the opposite field, means he's seeing the ball deep in the strike zone. You see it longer.
Strike to Mike Moustakas. He doubled in the second inning, 1 for 3. Moustakas, after that tough trip to Boston and Tampa Bay, is just 1 for 23. But now he's hit an 8 straight during the homestand, getting his average back up to 255. And his double tonight was his 30th. Very high in the air. And with re-entry burns on it, the ball lands in Moreland's glove for the second out.
That had a little hang time on it.
Tony Abreu 0 for 3. He has not driven in a run. That was one of the categories in our hot watch.
He's not done yet, though. He's got a chance to split the gap. Pick up Frenchie.
Also, somebody in one of the categories, as well as Jeremy Guthrie giving up 1 home run or less. So that was a winner. That was the one that I came up with, but you're not allowed tonight to vote on your own selection.
So, am I hearing a little bit of bitterness, maybe? Because I know how you like to win.
What else do we have? Billy Butler would have 2 or more hits, right? And Billy finished with 1 hit, an RBI, and a line out to deep center field. So right now, Guthrie is the only winner. One ball, 1 strike. Tony Abreu does not get cheated at the plate.
Nope, I like it. He gets his money's worth, and I like the fact that he's up on the dish. Look where he is. He's crowding that plate, and he's ready to swing now. Just a little bit uppercut on that one. Pulled off it some. And there's a balk. So now he has a chance to get a ribby with a single.
If a pitcher does not step off, so he shifts his feet, he does not step off behind the rubber.
Right.
He cannot fake a throw over to first base.
And he didn't even throw it.
Off the end of the bat, Kinsler backhands it. Did you have Abreu in the hot watch?
No, but I was pulling for a ribby.
Because you just jumped out of your seat.
I get excited when I see guys back full form up here, man. It's a squibber. It almost squibbed up the middle. Would have gotten him an RBI to go with it. Frenchie was watching the whole way. See how that ball hits right off the end of the bat. And that ball had spin on it. And I thought for sure it was going to get under Kinsler's glove. But he saved a run.
Now Johnny Giavotella, who homered to straightaway center field against Roy Oswalt in the 6th inning. He's 1 for 3. There is nobody warming up in the Royals bullpen. So Herrera is set up to pitch the 9th. Six runs, 11 hits for the Royals, and a 4-run lead in the bottom of the 8th. Oh, 0-1. Francoeur singled with 1 out, went to second on the balk. And Abreu reached with an infield single. To Beltre. And he throws out Giavotella, so we head to the 9th. The Royals are 3 outs away from tying the series at 1 game apiece. Hamilton, Beltre, and Cruz are coming up.
Live with Jeff Montgomery. Talk about another very good start from Jeremy Guthrie. Alex Gordon, 3rd home run of the year against a lefty. And we will get you ready for tomorrow's pitching matchup. Ryan Dempster, get a look at him. Everett Teaford, part of a bullpen start, will be backed up possibly by Vin Mazzaro. We'll have that and much more. And guys, how about one more Twitter question before we head out for the post-game show? Jason Heffernan, could Alex get another Gold Glove this year? And who was the last Royal to win one 2 years in a row? So I'll give you the 2 years in a row. Brian, you know who that is, right?
That'd be Frank, right?
Right, 86, 87, 85, 86, and 87. And I'll let you guys discuss Gordon for Gold Glove.
Well, his chances were enhanced last year. He deserved it, but the rule change certainly helped him, where now a left fielder and a center fielder and a right fielder all win Gold Gloves. It's not just 3 outfielders, and most of the time it's just 3 center fielders, so that helps his chances. And when you've won one, and this kind of goes back to our discussion about Beltre earlier, then that's usually the first name on the top of the coaches and managers' heads when they go to vote.
And he hasn't done anything to be dethroned, in my opinion. He's makes all the plays and then some. 10 outfield assists. Best left fielder in the American League. He should win it again. He's aired just one time, and I think that was debatable.
Here's Adrian Beltre, who is thrilled that Guthrie is out. And he goes into right field for a base hit. So right away, the Rangers have 2 on with nobody out as Hamilton beats the throw from Francoeur. 1st and 3rd, nobody out. Beltre was 0 for 3 against Guthrie and 5 for 32 in his career.
Big hole there. Good stroke. Now Frenchie can't wait to throw a guy out. Showing off that arm.
And now with the tying run on deck, it becomes a save situation. And Ned Yost is out. Greg Holland has been warming up. Two opposite field base hits allowed by Herrera in the 9th inning. And Ned Yost is going to milk this as long as he can and give Holland a few more warm-up tosses, although Holland's ready to go. He was through the gate just about the time that Ned pointed to the bullpen. Against the Detroit Tigers, and also save the game against Minnesota on Sunday. Now tonight he comes in the middle of an inning. A 4-run game, but the tying run is on deck. And after an inning starts, that qualifies for a save. When the inning begins, the tying run is in the hole. And he inherits first and third, nobody out. And will be pitching to Nelson Cruz.
Okay, strike one's been his best pitch, and it's usually down low and on a corner. Good mid-90s. Might go a little higher at times. And he's got a slider and a good split finger.
Cruz has only seen Greg Holland twice. And he's 1 for 2. That base hit was a single. One and one. Nelson Cruz had a very interesting stretch of games against the Royals. And 2 years in a row, he was called up from the minor leagues while the Rangers were playing the Royals. And in 2007, the day he was called up, he hit 2 home runs and drove in 5. 1 ball, 2 strikes. In 2008, he was called up from the minor leagues, and the Rangers were playing the Royals here at Kauffman Stadium, just like 2007. And that year, in his first game, he had 3 hits, including a 3-run home run. And then in 2010, he hit his first home run of the season against the Royals. Holland, did he get a piece? He did not. He struck him out. Home plate umpire Lance Barksdale put his hands in the air. And typically that is a foul ball, dead ball call. Didn't do it right away. And then right here. So it's a strikeout, 1 away. And now first and third for Michael Young.
And that's hit well to center. Kane fades back to the edge of the track to make the play. So a run will score as Hamilton comes down from third, and it's 6-3. And that keeps the tying run in the on-deck circle. Final tally in our Sprint You Call It question for tonight. The best offense in the American League, 75% going with the Texas Rangers. And Bud and I tonight, we agree with the fans.
They know best most of the time.
And now Holland and David Murphy with a rare hitless game against the Royals. Up the middle, Giavotella picks it off. He goes to the bag. Holland gets the save. And the Royals have evened the series with a 6-3 win tonight. And the Royals once again have the advantage in the season series with Texas at 4-3. Alex Gordon had a 2-run home run for the Royals in a 3-run fifth inning that put the Royals in front. Royals added another run in the 6th. Texas gets one in the 9th. Johnny Giavotella also homered for KC. So the Rangers hit 5 home runs yesterday, 5-0 compared to the Royals. But tonight the Royals out homer the Rangers 2-1.